The details of the section, growth of an idea, convey a central idea of the passage by suggesting that. Okay, so a couple things on our conditions. We want to look at this section, growth of an idea, and how it contributes to the idea of the passage. So we just want to understand broadly what is the idea here. So if we go back up, the growth of an idea was about just that, the growth of the idea. If we quickly summarize what it said again, here's where he gets the idea over a ship. He learns about Faraday's magnet at Yale, and he's excited to do something, but he has a problem. He doesn't know anything about it himself, about electricity. So he hires Gale, who does. Gale then realizes he knows about another person, Henry, who rang a bell and basically closed the electric circuit. So he published an article, and that Morse was unaware of this article. And Gale then, with his help and knowledge of electricity, he helped Morse actually correct the flaws of that system and begin essentially the development and construction of what later became the telegraph system. And it looks like they later hired a young Alfred Vail as an assistant. So, okay, that's the idea. Let's see what the answer choices are. So he wanted to do it, he needed help, and he brought in some help, and then they learned from somebody else's research who was not part of the team. What answer says that? Normally I'm going to go for the correct answer immediately, but C, looking at this, Faraday's invention of the electromagnet inspired the invention of the telegraph. That has nothing really to do with those two paragraphs that we just mentioned. And then colleges like Yale played a great role in making new discoveries about electricity. No, they had a lecture where Morse first learned about it. They did not really have a role in this discovery or invention. So that's clearly wrong. Okay, so two obvious wrong eliminations. And now let's check A and B. The collaborative efforts of colleagues resulted in successful communication over wire. Okay, so there were different people working together, and they did eventually create a communication over wire. All right, possible. A great deal of interest and work was devoted to understanding how to use electricity to send signals. Well, that's true as well. So we have two choices that might be possible options here. How do we compare them? Well, let's look through the details like we usually do. The conditions of A are collaborative efforts of colleagues, and that ends in successful communication over a wire. Okay, a couple things here. Were they really collaborating? So Morse and Gale collaborated somewhat, doesn't really even talk about that. But Henry, who had the other idea, was not even part of their team. It's just somebody that used his work to actually build their own system. They were not collaborating. This is not really collaboration of colleagues, plural. And this section is growth of an idea. They did not actually complete the successful communication in this section. They did by the end of the passage, which after reading the passage, you might, think of course that happened, but that's not part of growth of an idea, which is the question condition. So here is not where this occurred at the end of the passage. So I think B is going to be the right answer. A great deal of interest and work was devoted to understanding how to use electricity to send signals. Yes, this doesn't say they successfully built the telegraph yet, which they didn't. And it shows that they did work and were interested in helping to develop this telegraph or electric signal sending. Yeah, they definitely did do that. They learned from others and they corrected it and built their own system. B is going to be the correct answer.